Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hi, I'm Zane Carson Carruth. I'm your host today for this episode of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living. We are lucky today to have a guest by the name of Dutch Mendenhall on our show. Dutch is the author of the Wall Street Journal best-selling book titled Money Shackles, as well as the founder and CEO of the RADD companies. Dutch has taken investing in real estate to a whole new level. His approach is different and evidently extremely successful. Welcome to the show, Dutch.
Zane, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, well, we're thrilled to have you. We're interested in what you have to say. And Lord knows we could all use a little help in investing. Let's start with your book, Money Shackles. Can you share some insights from that book that we can use to jumpstart our investment portfolio in real estate?
It's it's a guide, right? I mean, I believe real estate's the greatest, alternative investment that exists. And so many Americans, so many people are like, how? What do I do, right? What's the difference between buying with a realtor or buying a foreclosure? What's the difference between, buying a rental property or flipping a property? And what property management do I use? And, how do I approach this business? And what are the tax savings, right? Everybody knows there's tax savings with real estate, but what are they? And how do you apply them? And what do you tell your CPA when it comes to it? And can you use your 401ks and can you use your IRAs? But, Money Shackles comes from, a childhood where, I didn't have a financial education. I didn't have a wealth education. And so as I was able to build a portfolio and grow and then help thousands and thousands of other people grow their real estate portfolios, it was, how do we take that awesomeness, right? And that blessing that we've been given from God and then give it to other people so they can have a healthy relationship with money. They can have the know what to do with the tooth fairy money that they give their kids.
There you go. Well, that's a good place to start. That's where we should start, is saving that tooth fairy money. And that's something the bank should think about. Do a little passport savings book, but that's a different subject. Anyway, but from what I have read and done my research on you, you kind of have a different approach. The real estate markets are volatile. You know how to watch for those. You know how to help people. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, my different approach is you don't have to do it alone, right? You can, in 2012, the Jobs Act passed, which allowed for fractionalized ownership in real estate. And so you don't have to own a whole portfolio. You don't have to own an entire piece of real estate. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to operate it. There's a very passive way to do real estate and then do it better, right, than what the retail markets give you. And so, my belief is the ability of us together can do so much more than we can alone. And I also believe, Americans, have the ability to buy our country and buy our country back. And so us owning our real estate is important. And I think there's, too many, outside influences in this world buying our real estate. There's foreign governments buying our real estate. And why would we let them? We can make so much money together doing it.
That is so true. And you had mentioned fractional real estate investment. And then also I want to talk about farm investment, that you're buying up some farmland, which is vital. I mean, we all know that where we are and where China is looking at all of our farmland, that we need to take that very seriously. Explain to us how that fractional ownership works. And from the very beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to hit a couple. I'll hit the political thing first with China, and then I'll go into what fractionalized ownership really is. Right. the CCP, right, is the number one threat to American society. Our national defense says it's the number one threat to American society. And what they're attempting to do is overthrow capitalism, upset capitalism, turn capitalism upside down. One of the ways they're doing that is they're buying our American farmland. They're buying our American real estate. And that doesn't mean I don't love Chinese Americans. I do. I love every Chinese American, and I love every Chinese American who's ever invested with us, right? The Chinese people themselves, aren't people that are thinking that way. It's a communist government that is that way. And so a long time ago, I started putting out a lot of information about them buying our farmland and buying our American land. And we have some good lawmakers in Arkansas and Iowa and throughout the nation that have passed laws banning, right, the ownership of foreign nationals, especially Chinese foreign nationals, from buying our American real estate. And so, it's kind of a little bit of a game changer here in the US for us to be able to control that. But as an individual person, you can't worry about national things. You can't worry about Trump, Biden. You can't worry about none of that stuff. All you can focus on is making your own individual good investments, right? And so what fractionalized ownership is if you had a beach property and you wanted to bring in partners, 100 people owning $1 million property is only $10,000 a person. But all of us can get the benefits, right, from the rental of that beach property, from the cash flow of that beach property, from the success of that beach property, right? Crowdfunding's this amazing industry. Like, could you, if you had $5 million, could you be a real estate investor too? Could you make decisions to be a real estate investor? And if you did, wouldn't you want to make the good, right decisions? And so there's fundamental processes to each step of that way. Now, our farmland is one of the most beautiful things I think I've ever done as an investor, right? We've been doing houses for a decade, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses. And then when the pandemic hit, I bought my first farm, and I was just blown away at its income potential, at the natural resource that it is. And man, I mean, I like things that make money, right? And so when I started looking at each acre, almost like it was an apartment unit, and each acre was producing income, it kind of blew my mind, right? We had a farm that, made $40,000 a year in income. And last year, we were over $250,000 in income on it. I mean, it blew me away, And so we went from 454 acres to 2,000 acres to 2,900 acres to 7,000 acres. And like right now, it's pretty cool. We have a new farm under contract that people could come in and be a 1% or 5% owner in with us, become a fractionalized, partner with us. And, we're buying it for $2.8 million. The seller's giving us, a $1.8 million seller financing. So we only have to put $1 million down on the property, but it shares a fence line with our existing farms. And out of the 333 acres, 317 of them already produce income. Right. And so they're, farmland, irrigated acres, and, farmland's gone from a few $1,000s an acre to over $10,000 an acre in America. And when you start talking $7,000 an acre, it's mind blowing, right? What that can make for people. And what I learned a long time ago is like the greed is a good way to ruin all your finances and money. And so I've learned that when I find great deals, when I find great investments, and I can make people a lot of money, I started sharing that, and I started co-investing with people. And my life and my business just went through the roof. And I mean, who doesn't want to make money, right? I mean, some people maybe.
Well, it's vital. It really is vital for your day-to-day living. But farmland resonates with me because I grew up in a farmland community, rice farming in El Campo, Texas. So I know how expensive it is. So if you get into this, say I were to be one of your fractional investors in farmland, who makes the decisions? Who calls the shots? I mean, you send your money in, but I mean, good decisions obviously were made for you to have grown like that. How does that part work? I mean, how do you gain that sense of security that I'm giving my money, but somebody is a lot smarter about farmland than I am?
I mean, we're going to manage and operate, right? It's one of those things, like we know the right insurances, right? For an individual investor, if we had a drought and they weren't able to yield, their returns, in a given year, they might be in trouble. Their farm might struggle, right? But for us, we have the right insurance to backing every one of our farms, every one of our commodities, right? Our farm team is as smart as it gets to knowing what to plant. Like when Ukraine and Russia went to war, we started planting wheat and winter wheat because we knew there was going to be a wheat shortage nationwide, right? If you're not looking at, where the futures are and where the markets are headed with commodities, you don't know what's going on, right? So for us, like right now, we're looking at the price of beef, and we look at, the escalation of the price of beef. And so, we bought a cattle auction, and that cattle auction, we have the exclusive right to sell our commodities, right? Our wheat and our sorghum and our stuff, for feeding cattle. And so, for us, it's just about growing the business step by step, piece by piece, and doing it hand in hand with other people. You don't have to be alone in this investing thing, because alone is I mean, if you're alone and something goes wrong, then it's a headache. It can be turned into a nightmare for somebody, right? But when you're together and something goes wrong, we have the attorneys to make sure they're there. We have the insurances to make sure they're there. We have the staff, the team, the people, right? But when you're part of a portfolio, you don't have to be alone, right? If something goes wrong in one of our properties, or there's a challenge with one of our properties, well, there's all of the others, right, that offset those challenges. And so, it's just about the power of the whole is so much more than the power of the solo.
Okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So usually, like if there's 51%, that person controls everything. So at the top, how much percentage is owned by the top and then the rest of the people?
It just depends on the individual deal, right? And so, we have deals where we're 50-50 partners with people. We have deals where, they own just, 5% of an individual real estate deal, because our REITs, which are, separate from a lot of our partnerships, right, are going to continue to buy, invest, and do real estate, right? What our other people have the ability to do with fractionalized ownership is come on and be a joint venture or a singular partner. Sometimes we have people come in and buy 50% of a deal. Sometimes they come in and buy 25% of a deal. And in every situation, right, our operating agreements and different things, we're managed operating it. We're getting a little bit away from money shackles and a little bit more into our business, which is okay too.
Well, yeah, back to money shackles. Now, if we were to buy that book, what would we expect to learn, or what would we learn, and how would that guide us through your investment opportunities?
I mean, I believe it's America's greatest greatest step-by-step guide on financial prosperity. I think it's going to be your ability to go from the tooth fairy money, right, to being in school and college, to being a working professional, to having 401ks, to having IRAs, right, and having the ability to have a backbone behind you, right. It's going to tell you what are the 20 mistakes people make when they invest in real estate. What are 20 smart things they do when they invest in real estate? And it has checklists for everything. It's going to talk to you about our freedom chart, right, and how to control your lifestyle. And when you're investing, supersede your expenses, how you have the freedom to do whatever you want in life. And, it just has the fundamental rules that every American needs that we're not taught in the American school system. And so, you need to have a template for you to follow when it comes to your finance and wealth. And it can be given to you from a financial advisor. And there are great financial advisors in this world, but there's also a lot of them advising people on finances who've never been wealthy. And so you need to have your own framework, your own blueprint, right, for how you're going to control your money and what you're going to do with your money, versus letting somebody else control your money and somebody else be in charge of you, right? So often Americans feel controlled by the narrative, controlled by the system, and they feel like there's a lot of unknown, and there's kind of this abyss, and they don't know what the right next step is. And so Money Shackles is going to give them those next steps. Money Shackles is going to help them with the decision making. When you wake up every single day, to brush your teeth, to take a shower. Well, most people do, and so to put on deodorant, right? Well, when it comes to your financial wealth, right, there is the same brushing your teeth, there is the same putting on deodorant, there is the same step-by-step action, right? And it's a difference. And here's the part that people don't understand. Making the right decision right now with your financials and wealth, right, is a difference between millions and millions of dollars in the future or struggling your entire life. And that's a choice every single American has to make. If you make the wrong decisions with your money right now, you are literally stealing from yourself 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. And a lot of people don't see it that serious. But the reality is, bad decisions because you don't have the correct fundamentals, bad investments because you don't have the right fundamentals, trusting the wrong advisor because you don't have the right fundamentals, you're going to end up stealing from yourself later in life. But making the right decisions, the right thoughts right now means you're going to give to yourself for the rest of your life. And that's a choice that every single American has to make.
Well, that makes sense. What are some common misconceptions about real estate investments that you have encountered, and how can people adapt to those or change those or address those? How do you help people with those
Yeah, I mean, I've heard everything over the years, right? That you can't make any money in real estate, which I laugh at because everybody makes money in real estate, right? Your billionaires put money into real estate. Your millionaires put money into real estate. There's no one that has a financial code that has talked to a single financial person in the world that doesn't say a part of your three-pronged approach to investing must be the alternative of real estate, right? I've seen people say that real estate investors are greedy, right? They take advantage of people. They hurt people. They take advantage of people in difficult situations, right? Let me say that those type of investors exist in every walk of life, and those type of investors, right, should not be allowed to invest, right? We treat every single homeowner, every single farmer, every single apartment owner, every single investment we make, right? We treat people exceptionally well. We create win-win relationships. We recently bought a golf course here in Tampa, right? I'm in California right now, but our core of our business runs out of Tampa, Florida. And we recently bought a golf course. And it was that golf course's owner's dream to own, right, a golf course, to build, a thriving, community, to have charity events and to do all these amazing things. And, from a business standpoint, COVID beat him up, right? And he struggled. And what we did is we went and were able to negotiate a great win-win relationship with him where he still has some ownership and some equity, right, with us. But we were able to come in and make the right decisions, to put the right people into place, to put the right marketing into place, to start hosting the charity events that he's always wanted to host. And now, right, within a matter of months, he's beginning to live his dream, right, and co-ownership and co-relationship of business, right? And so, it's a choice as an investor on how you're going to treat people. And I believe in the golden rule. I even believe in the platinum rule. And those are two rules that fundamentally you have to have, right? Because if you don't live your life that way, karma will come back to get you. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've seen it 100 times. It might not come back to get them today, but it will come back to get them. And it'll come back to get them in their health. It'll come back to get them in their life. It'll come back to get them in so many different ways. But if you are genuine in your soul, and what truly how you want to treat people, truly how your intention is, then that same karma will come back again and again in your life. And financially is one of the hardest places, right, to have fundamental backbone when it comes to karma. It's so easy to make the greed decision, but the greed decision will always cost you, right? The smart decision, the right decision will always benefit. You will always win, and the people around you will win.
Well, now, okay, so this golf course guy, did he contact y'all? Did y'all find him? Because that's just like you're going out to get investors, either a bank or a group of investors. Or so how does that work? How do people contact you if they have a business they want to grow, be it a farm, a ranch, a bookstore? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, they can go to any of our websites, right? They can go to DutchMendenhall.com. There's contact us forms on there for sure. We have acquisition teams throughout America. We have them in Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas, and California. We actually have them in Idaho as well. So those are, some of our core, markets, but we also have farms in Tennessee and Arkansas, right? And so, we have these acquisition teams, and that's their entire life. Their entire life is bird dogging, hunting, finding deals. And I have a very mature, right? I say very mature when some of them are still in their 20s, but they've been with me 4 or 5+ years, right? And so they've been with me a long time, acquiring properties, doing deals, doing transactions. Like another deal we're doing right now is 128 house, landlord portfolio deal, right? And the landlord, same thing, had some struggles during the pandemic, has achieved some pretty good financial wealth himself in life, and he's just done. He's just tired of it, right? So, we're going in and making this purchase and making this investment. It has $160,000 a month cash flow, right? And, our partners come in and they get a part of that cash flow. They get a part of those investments. They get a part of those deals, and it's the best thing in the world.
How much is there a minimum level that you have to come into your group?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to get almost like kind of into an offering, right? So let me do a couple just disclosures because we went there, right? I just want to make sure, not a lawyer, not a financial advisor. I am an investor, right? And I invest in real estate. I've invested with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of other people. We do have some specific offering circulars, Regulation Ds. We have a Regulation A that is out there for general interest. And so when you go to our website, you can look at all those offering circulars before making any investments. They all have risk. All investments in the world, anybody who tells you differently, then they are people you should stay away from, right? They have risk, right? Any investment could be dangerous. We have a long track record and history of success with people. The minimum investment we have right now is a $10,000 investment throughout our different vehicles that we have. But I think that's through our RADD America Reg D or through our RADD REIT Reg D, right? And so you guys could contact us and do that kind of investment, which would be awesome. My belief with Money Shackles is that I've laid out the step-by-step process that any American can go do this themselves, and any American can go succeed themselves. And if you choose to invest with us, or if you decided to invest with us, great. I'll bring you in. We're going to fight hard for you. We're going to work our butts off for you. We're going to do everything in our power. We have an incredible group of people that have been with me a long time. I actually have 2 employees that hit 10 years this year with me as team and staff. And those are, that's a long time, right? For someone to dedicate their life and succeed. But, they believe in the mission just like I believe in the missions. We give you money shackles. So that's my gift to people, right? And then you can, if you wanted a hard copy, you can pay, shipping and handling and that part of it. But it's, it's a gift that we've been sharing with the world. RADD Companies is an investment vehicle, investment company, and we have everything from joint ventures and partnerships to people who join our high-level mastermind, mentorship program, to our REITs and our REIT vehicles, and to an OZ fund, which is a whole different world to save money on taxes. And so, but I would just start the journey with us, right? Go to the DutchMendenhall.com is always the best place to start.
Well, that's interesting. Well, we are wrapping up our show. So is there anything else you want to tell the listeners? But now it's on the screen, your website, how to get to Dutch Mendenhall, so we could get started with that.
And what else would I share with them? I mean, it's a journey, right? Finances, money, wealth, it's a journey. And the moment you think you got it all figured out is the moment it's going to turn on you. And so, continue the education, continue the knowledge. Some people love to read the book. If you don't love to read the book, listen to the Audible. If you don't love the Audible, we have a step-by-step, video series that takes people through each chapter, right, from the book. And, just begin your knowledge. And, we have a passive way for people to make investments, a passive way for people to succeed, a passive way for people to be into real estate and get all the tax benefits of real estate. And, I love it, right? My journey of partnership and seeing other people become millionaires, seeing other people succeed, always those disclosures. If I say I've seen people become millionaires, it's, you have to say that's not every human being who's ever read Money Shackles becomes a millionaire, right? But we've had a lot. And that success and those success stories, right? You see hundreds of them, not a few of them, hundreds and hundreds of them on our websites. And you're going to see that, it's a journey. And we love to see people succeed. I've been given a gift. I believe that God has, asked me to share that gift with the world. And so I do my best to be able to do that in the most enlightened way, the most spirited way that I can. And it's a blessing. So I appreciate all the people who join us on the journey.
Well, I know I'm energized. I'm very interested in all this. Like I said, I did a lot of research on you before you came. So I was really looking forward to visiting with you. But well, anyway, we're going to close now. But thank you so much for being on the show, Dutch. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to speaking to you again.
Thank you so much, Zane.
Bye. Well, we're going to close our show. Thank y'all so much for being a part of our show this month. And we will be back next month. Have a good week. Bye.
This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of the world's first tooth fairy ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZaneCarruth.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of the world's first tooth fairy ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of ELEGANCE, Polished Demeanor, and POSH Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating warm memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZaneCarruth.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.